Welcome back to part 3 of All Russian Guns and Phantom Forces. We'll be reviewing another 4 guns today and another 4 tomorrow in part 4.
I've been kept in this basement with my hands tied behind my back by the KGB. Send help!
Anyhow, let's get right into it, shall we? After 29 ranks, we finally reached a gun that uses 7.62x39 again, and that is the Groza 1. The Groza started production around 1994 as the OTS-14 Groza. It is said to be an AKS-74U in a bullpup configuration, and I could kinda see that. In-game, the Groza 1 is unlocked at rank 42. It has a rate of fire of 750, which is nothing to look at. The walk speed of this gun is also average at 14 studs per second. However, what I like about this gun is that it's very controllable. Not only that, it's fairly versatile. It has a reload rate of 2.3 seconds and an empty reload of 3.3. It has a base damage value of 33, which drops down to 22s, so you're gonna be 4-shotting most of the time. While damage and reload is mediocre, something about me likes this gun. Maybe it's because of its weird bullpup configuration. Maybe it's because of its recoil handling and the iron sights. The only thing that sets this thing back from being my favorite is that it's mediocre all around. Verdict: use it. If you really want a gun that is consistent and controllable recoil, the Groza 1 is there if you don't feel like playing the SR3M. Overall, the Groza 1 is a solid weapon of choice, but if you don't feel like using the Groza 1, then there are other weapons yet to come. The AK-12BR is an entirely fictional gun. No battle rifle has been chambered in 7.62x54R. Only semi-automatic, bolt-action rifles along with machine guns are only chambered in set rounds. I'm pretty sure Stylus was thinking, why don't we make a rifle that fires the 7.62x54R in automatic? The closest thing to the AK-12BR in real life is the AK-308, which is basically an AK-12 that fired in 7.62x51 NATO. The 308 is there to avoid confusion between the 7.62 Russian rounds and 7.62 NATO. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of the gun despite multiple people saying that it's good. The AK-12BR has a damage value of, guess what, 39 to 25. That's right, this thing has less stopping power than the AK-47. Why Stylus did this is probably due to balance. Why it has low recoil is beyond me. The AK-12BR, unlike most other AK-12 models, doesn't have a 3-round burst, but rather a 2-round burst. This is due to the mag capacity of 20, which is average for a battle rifle. It fires at 700 rounds per minute and 1,000 rounds per minute in burst. It's not as fast as the AN-94, but it could be spam click to have the effective fire rate. The AK-12BR has a speed of 14 studs per second, which is average, but I think this thing is supposed to be heavier than the SVU and the SVDS. It has a reload rate of 3.1 seconds and an empty reload of 4.1 seconds. This is because it doesn't use the AK-12 reload animation, but the SKS animation. It may be because of how overpowered it used to be with its minimal recoil. Overall, there are a lot of people that say the AK-12BR is good, but I'm not one of them. Verdict: consider it. Like I said, while this gun may not be for me, it could possibly be meant for you. I've seen professional YouTubers go all out with this thing and make it look good while I basically attempt to survive with this thing. I'd much rather use the AK-47 than this thing. The VSS Vintores is basically an ASVAL turned into a DMR. The VSS stands for Vintovka Sniperskaya Spetsialnya, or Special Sniper Rifle. Basically, the Russians needed a proper DMR to give to the Spetsnaz, so they decided to convert the ASVAL into a DMR, changing a few parts here and there, and then give it to the Spetsnaz marksman. In-game, the VSS Vintores is unlocked at rank 46, just one level behind the famous AK-47. The VSS Vintores is a very unique DMR, but we'll get into that in a bit. The VSS has a base damage value of 55 down to 38, so you are able to 2-shot players if you play at mid to close range. The great part is that you'll be able to 2 to 3 shot people, so it's very ammo efficient if you line up your shots. It has a magazine capacity of 10, which is very much justified as the Asval already has 20 rounds. The damage also justifies its magazine capacity as having 20 rounds is a bit broken. It has a rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute. Notice how I said rate of fire and not rate of fire cap. This is because the VSS has the ability to fire in full auto. Yes, full auto. You could basically turn this thing into a Beowulf PCR. It's useful in almost any range given the fact that you know how to change fire mode on the fly. Changing fire mode on the fly is very useful. Let's say you're trying to hit this one sniper at a distance with your VSS and all of a sudden you can hear footsteps coming closer. Immediately disengage the sniper and switch fire mode and get ready to spray down your flanker. Walk speed is averaged at 14 studs per second. Reload is not bad, 2.3 seconds for a tactical and 3.1 for an empty, which is very useful considering the low mag capacity. Sadly, the VSS suffers the same fate as the Asval, having the inability to use barrel attachments. And remember, just with the laser and grip alone, you can't fully control the recoil reliably. Verdict? Use it. The damage values are basically what you want from a DMR, 2 to 3 shot kill. Just don't play with this thing too aggressively, and if you are, well, there are better options out there like the next gun that I'm gonna talk about. Right after you get the VSS, you get the legendary AK-47. Ironically enough, the AK-47 didn't start production during 1947, but 1949. The AK-47 is the Soviets' attempt to make an assault rifle, made by the great Mikhail Kalashnikov. He submitted the design of the AK-47, creating what we all know and love. In-game, the AK-47 is obtained at rank 47, and let me tell you, this is a very fun gun to play with. While the walk speed and reload are nothing to look at, 14 studs per second and 2.5/30.3 seconds respectively, the damage values is nothing to scoff at. The AK-47 sports the highest damage out of all assault rifles. It has a base damage value of 42 down to 30, so you're going to be hitting 3-shot kills very consistently. Not only that, the damage range is pretty decent as well, from 80 studs to 160. While the 47 sports these great damage values, it comes with one trade-off, and that is recoil handling. The 47 without attachments could be proven very difficult to handle, especially due to the camera recoil combined with its mixture of vertical and horizontal recoil. By itself, the AK is not a very forgiving gun, but after you grind for a bit, getting attachments, the AK becomes more fun and more forgiving, as it will then become very controllable. The AK is recommended to be used in close to mid-range as the recoil will make it suffer at long ranges. Verdict? Use it. Once you know how to properly use the AK-47 with all of the attachment, you can basically use every other assault rifle in the game, with the exception of the M231 without too much problems. In fact, after using the AK-47 for an extended period of time, other guns felt more controllable. If this isn't the case for you, then you do you. There are other AKs that will be unlocked in future ranks that are potentially better and may fit your playstyle more, but the AK-47 is a solid gun for most maps. And that concludes part 3 of all Russian guns in Phantom Forces. Like I said, I'll be reviewing the next 4 tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm actually fine.
No, I'm not. The Russians have been keeping me here. I should consider myself lucky that I'm able to attend school meetings. Oh shoot.